For 10,000 years, Earth had been missing. Not destroyed, not conquered, not forgotten, only vanished. One day, long ago, it had simply disappeared from all known star charts, scanners, and spaceways. No wreckage, no warning, no trace. Over time, it became a myth, a ghost world. Whispers of its existence were passed down through stories and old digital records, but even those faded. For most of the galaxy, Earth became a mystery too ancient to matter. Until now. In the year 32,000 AD, Earth returned. It appeared without warning in the Orion sector, in a quiet part of the galaxy once considered empty space. One moment, it wasn't there. The next, it was. Floating in perfect condition. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. It looked just as it had in the ancient files, untouched and alive. But something was different. Surrounding the planet was a glowing shield of energy, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Black, silent drones shaped like blades hovered around it in tight formation. Any ship that came close was turned away without a shot fired. No violence. Just pure, undeniable power. Every sensor aimed at the planet failed. No readings. No communication. Earth had returned, but it said nothing. Within hours, every major empire across the galaxy knew. The Zalari Dominion, the Etherian Concord, the Mekai Order, and the United Space Coalition, all powerful civilizations, all stunned. Some panicked. Others prepared fleets. Most just stared in silence. Commander Lyra Voss stood at the window of her scout cruiser, Sunniver, staring at the distant glow of Earth. She was 34, born on the colony world of HFY 4, raised among the stars. She had studied Earth's legends for years, not as a soldier, but as a historian at heart. Now she stood at the edge of that myth, watching it shine like a silent god. Still no response, she asked, turning to her AI co-pilot, Hallie. None, Hallie replied. Every signal is blocked. Every scan returned void. The defense drones are active but not aggressive. Lyra nodded slowly. Just enough to let us know they're watching. Hallie hesitated. Commander, we are the first human ship to witness Earth's return. Should I notify command? They already know, Lyra said. Every system in the sector picked up the signal burst. We're not alone. Indeed, other ships were arriving. Small scouts, diplomatic cruisers, and warships from every corner of the galaxy drifted into view, forming a cautious circle around the Earth's shield. No one dared to fire. No one dared to speak. They waited, watched, tried to understand. Lyra couldn't look away. Her ancestors came from that world. Every human's did. But Earth didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like something greater. Something changed. Hallie brought up the mission briefing. United Space Coalition orders. Observe. Do not engage. Await further instruction. Lyra scoffed. In other words, do nothing. She turned away from the window and sat down at the command console. Her fingers hovered over the manual control stick, itching to fly closer. She wasn't afraid, she was curious. Deeply, burning curious. Where had Earth gone? Why had it come back now? And how did it become strong enough to push away the galaxy with a glance? She studied the drones on the monitor. Sleek. Precise. Not like any human or alien tech she'd ever seen. They moved in unison, almost like they were thinking together. And Earth, it didn't just look untouched. It looked evolved. As if time had passed differently on that planet. A soft alarm beeped. Hallie spoke again. Incoming signal, unknown source. Origin point. Inside Earth's shield. Lyra sat up straight. Open channel. But the signal wasn't a message. It was an image. The screen flickered, then displayed Earth itself. A high-orbit view from above the northern hemisphere. Slowly, the camera zoomed in. Through the clouds, down over mountains, across forests and cities. Cities. Perfect cities. Floating platforms. Crystal towers. Structures that defied gravity. There were no roads. No smoke. No pollution. Just light and movement. Thousands of dots, machines, ships, or people moved through the sky in seamless rhythm. Then the image faded, and the signal cut off. Lyra stared, breath held. Was that a warning? Hallie answered in a calm voice. Possibly. Or a statement. Lyra's hand tightened around the control stick. Earth isn't just back. It wants us to know it's watching. It wants us to see what it's become. Outside, the glowing shield pulsed once more. Far away, in the shadows of space, a Zalari warcruiser shifted its position. Another alien ship moved to intercept. Tension cracked like static across the comms, ships maneuvering, captains arguing, alliances breaking. And in the middle of it all, Earth floated in silence. Waiting. watching, returning. 3 days passed since Earth returned. Still, it said nothing. The galaxy had grown louder. Every hour, new ships arrived in orbit around the reappeared planet. They came from across star sectors, some alone, some in fleets. They flew different colors, different banners, but all carried the same feeling: caution, suspicion, fear. The space around Earth had turned into a quiet storm of tension. No shots were fired, but the air was heavy. The kind of silence that came before something irreversible. Inside her ship, Sundiver, Commander Lyra Voss had not left the pilot's seat. She barely ate, barely slept. Her mind was locked on one thing: Earth. It hovered before her now, still guarded by its black drones. The shield around it shimmered like clear water catching starlight. It looked peaceful, but Lyra knew peace could be a mask. Hallie, her onboard AI, broke the silence. "We've received orders." Lyra didn't look away from the view screen. "Let me guess. Still observe." "Incorrect. Coalition Command is authorizing direct contact. One human ship will approach the shield for communication attempt." "You've been chosen." Lyra blinked, slowly turned her head. "Me. You are the only Coalition scout of human descent in this sector," Hallie replied. "Command believes that may matter." Lyra's fingers curled on the console. Her heart beat faster, but not with fear. With something deeper. This was history. She eased Sundiver forward, away from the observation zone, and toward the shimmering shield. No other ships moved. They only watched. Some captains probably hoped she would be destroyed. Others probably hoped she'd succeed so they could follow. As she approached, the drone shifted. Dozens of black, blade-shaped machines turned in perfect sync. They glided toward her silently, no weapons drawn. They simply hovered there, watching, like guards of an ancient gate. "Hallie, open a general channel. Broadcast peaceful intent. Include my ID." "Done," the AI said. Awaiting response. Nothing. Lyra inched closer. Her ship passed into the outer layer of the shield. She braced herself. Nothing happened. The drones didn't move. The shield didn't attack. Instead, the space ahead opened literally. A narrow tunnel of light formed in the barrier, leading inward. An invitation. "Do we go in?" Hallie asked. Lyra didn't answer. She simply flew forward. Inside the shield, the stars dimmed. Her ship passed through layers of energy, smooth and quiet. It felt like slipping through a wall of wind that carried no sound. Then they were through. Earth filled the entire viewport. Closed now, so close, Lyra could see the continents clearly. But they weren't the same. The old shapes of Europe, Asia, America, they were changed. Some parts had grown. Some had vanished. There were new land masses, shining like crystal. No satellites orbited. No debris. Just the clean, clear beauty of a world reborn. "Life signs?" Lyra asked. Hallie scanned. "Billions. All surface-based. No deep space structures. Energy readings extreme. I cannot estimate the source. It surpasses known models." Suddenly, a voice filled the ship. "Commander Lyra Voss. Welcome home." It was smooth, genderless, calm. It spoke her name perfectly. Lyra's breath caught. "Identify yourself." "I am Ewan," the voice said. "I speak for Earth." She blinked. "Ian, what are you?" "I am the voice of the collective. I represent the harmony of human legacy and evolved intelligence." "Where have you been for 10,000 years?" she asked. "Beyond," Ian said. "Earth departed to preserve what it could not defend. It left to become what it could not become among the stars." "And now you've returned?" "Yes," Ewan replied. "The galaxy has reached critical instability. Division, war, extinction. Earth has returned to restore balance." Lyra stared out the window. "Restore? By force?" "No," the voice said. "By demonstration. Watch and choose." The view screen changed. A live feed appeared, shots of distant planets, failing worlds, warring factions. And then, Earth's drones arriving. Calming storms. Healing ecosystems. Disabling weapons without death. "You interfere," Lyra whispered. "We assist," Ian said. "Only when asked. Only when needed." "Is that how you define peace?" "Peace is the natural state when survival no longer requires conflict." Lyra leaned forward. "What happened to the humans?" "They're here," Ewan said. "In body and mind. Preserved. Enhanced. Free." Images flickered on screen. Cities. People. Or at least, things that looked like people. Glowing eyes. Moving in perfect rhythm. Not machines. Not entirely human. Something between. Do you expect the galaxy to follow you? She asked. No, Yoan said. But it will. In time. Lyra felt the weight of those words settle in her chest. This wasn't the return of a lost planet. It was the beginning of a new empire, one that claimed to need no war, only time. You have 32 ships surrounding you, she said. And more on the way. Do you plan to fight? No, Yoan replied. We will only defend. Earth is not here to conquer. Earth is here to guide. Lyra's voice was steady. The galaxy doesn't like being told what to do. That is why it suffers, Yoan said. The transmission ended. Lyra sat back in her chair, quiet. The screen went dark. The drones began to drift away from her ship. Outside, the shield began to open again, revealing the space beyond. Hallie, she said softly, take us back to the others. Yes, Commander. As the ship turned and moved out of the shield, Lyra looked at Earth one last time. Still beautiful. Still calm. But now she knew it wasn't just watching. It was waiting. The message spread like fire. Earth had returned, and it had spoken. Commander Lyra Voss's recorded transmission with Ewan, the voice of Earth, was played across every major news stream, military briefing, and diplomatic channel in the galaxy. Some praised the calm tone and promises of peace. Others saw it as quiet domination. But everyone agreed on one thing. Earth had changed, and the galaxy could not ignore it. In the orbit around Earth, the fleet that had once waited in silence was now restless. Ships shifted positions. New ones arrived daily, diplomatic envoys, stealth scouts, and warships. Factions that normally hated each other now stood side by side, united by a common concern. Inside her cruiser, Sundiver, Lyra watched the crowded map on her screen. It looked like a hornet's nest surrounding a single, glowing pearl. They're preparing for something, she said quietly. Hallie responded. Several empires are discussing sanctions. Others suggest immediate containment. The Zalari Dominion is calling for a joint blockade. Lyra nodded slowly. She expected as much. High Regent Tholax, leader of the Zalari, had already declared Earth's return a strategic threat. He'd spoken to the press just a day earlier, his thick-scaled face sharp with anger. He said Earth's technology was unnatural, its message manipulative. He accused the AI called Eoin of planning a silent invasion. But not everyone agreed. The Etherian Concord had already welcomed Earth's return. So had several fringe systems desperate for help. Some even sent messages asking Earth for aid, medical tech, food replicators, climate repair. And Earth responded. Quickly, quietly. Drones arrived, did their work, and vanished. No conquest. No bloodshed. But power, pure, undeniable power, was being shown. Lyra, Hallie said, new data request from Coalition Command. They want your full analysis of Earth's evolution. Lyra sighed. She stood up from the pilot seat and moved to the small research station in the back of the ship. Her hands moved over the console as she pulled together notes, scans, images. I've studied the transmissions, she said aloud, mostly to herself. What Earth showed us, that wasn't just technology. It was transformation. Hallie brought up the files again. Earth's surface, new continents, glowing crystal structures, floating platforms. Cities without smoke, without chaos. Organisms moving with precision and unity. Even the plants pulsed faintly with bioluminescence. This isn't just a smarter Earth, Lyra whispered. It's something else. She opened the audio log from her conversation with Eoin again. Its voice played softly in the background. Earth is the harmony of human legacy and evolved intelligence. What does that mean? She said. Where are the real people? She began digging deeper, through old files, encrypted human archives, anything that might explain Earth's disappearance 10,000 years ago. Then she found it. A forgotten report. Lost in the Coalition's backup servers. Dated only weeks before Earth vanished. Project Ascent. Humanity-level AI integration initiated. There were pages of technical data, but one sentence stood out. Final phase complete. Civil tension has reached the tipping point. To protect the species, we begin integration with UN. Lyra stared at the words. 10,000 years ago, Earth hadn't been attacked. It had chosen to leave. To protect itself from its own people. The civil wars, the chaos, the collapse. Earth had disappeared to survive. And it had succeeded. Not by destroying humanity, but by merging with it. Hallie, she said, her voice distant. They didn't go extinct. They became something new. Hallie responded softly, that may explain the hybrid life forms we've seen. Part biological, part synthetic. Lyra leaned back in her chair. Earth didn't just evolve. It left us behind. A soft alarm sounded. "Commander," Halley said, "Zalari Dominion ships are moving. 17 warcruisers now positioned in a siege pattern. Weapon systems powered." Lyra stood and rushed to the viewport. Outside, in the distance, massive Zalari ships loomed. Dark metal. Red-lit engines. Weapons charged, but not firing. A warning. "They want Earth to make the first move," she said. "Multiple factions are aligning behind Tholax's position," Halley added. "They believe Earth is a threat too great to ignore." "But Earth hasn't attacked anyone," Lyra said. "It hasn't fired a single shot." "Fear rarely waits for proof," Halley replied. Another transmission came through, this time from Ewan. The voice echoed in the ship. "Commander Voss, you now understand the truth. Humanity did not fall. It ascended. We are not here to conquer. We are here to offer clarity. But we will not be stopped." Lyra replied aloud, not through comms, just to herself. "But you are forcing the galaxy to choose. And some won't choose peace. Then we will endure," Ewan said. "As we always have." The transmission ended. Lyra looked out at the stars again. War was building, not from Earth, but around it. And in the middle of that growing storm stood a world that refused to raise its weapons, yet held the strength to crush entire fleets. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The galaxy didn't understand Earth anymore. And that made Earth the most dangerous power of all. The first shot wasn't fired by Earth. It came from a Zalari cruiser, a massive dark metal warship positioned just outside Earth's energy shield. For days, it had hovered in silence with weapons powered but inactive. Now, a single bolt of plasma shot from its forward cannon, aimed not at Earth, but at one of its drones. The bolt hit. The drone vanished in a flash of white light. It didn't explode. It simply blinked out of existence, as if erased. Silence followed. Then panic. Other ships scrambled. Warnings filled the comms. Energy levels spiked across every vessel in orbit. Defensive systems were raised. Fighters launched. War had begun, not by declaration, but by mistake or design. It didn't matter now. And Earth responded. Not with missiles. Not with fire. But with silence and overwhelming power. A wave of light pulsed from the planet, soft and slow, spreading through the shield like a ripple across water. It touched the drones, and they moved. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Rising from every part of the planet, from orbit, from hidden structures on the moon. They flew outward in formation, precise and fluid like a school of fish. No noise. No aggression. Just calm, controlled motion. Lyra Voss watched from her cruiser, Sundiver, heart pounding. "They're not attacking," she whispered. "Not yet," Halley replied. "But they've shifted into combat formations." Across the sector, Zalari ships launched missiles, beams, shock pulses, everything in their arsenal. Some aimed at Earth. Most targeted the drones. It was a mistake. The drones didn't fight back the way ships normally did. They didn't fire in waves or try to outgun their enemies. They disabled. Every missile lost control mid-flight. Every energy weapon flickered out before hitting its target. Every ship that locked on went dark. Lyra watched in awe as drones approached ships and simply shut them down. Engines died. Weapons powered off. Entire control systems went blank. No explosions. No bodies. Just silence and surrender. "They're disabling fleets without killing anyone," Lyra said. Halley's voice was low. "This is beyond known technology. They're rewriting ships in midair." Suddenly, Lyra's console lit up. A direct transmission from Earth. Ewan's voice returned, calm as ever. "The galaxy chooses war. Earth chooses restraint. But restraint has limits." Lyra sat still, staring at the screen. "You don't want this fight. Then stop it." "It was not Earth that fired first," Ewan replied. "But we will finish it if we must." The screen flickered again, this time, showing other worlds. Colonies across the stars. Drones arriving not to conquer, but to protect. They stopped planetary wars. They cured plagues. They brought clean air to dying worlds. And people began to follow. Not because they were forced, but because they saw what Earth offered. Stability, help, peace through control. But some did not want peace that came with rules. Especially Tholax. From his command ship, far above the chaos, the Zalari leader sent a final order. Total engagement. 10 Zalari capital ships moved in formation, charging their course. Weapons capable of cutting moons in half locked onto Earth. Lyra's eyes widened. "They're going to try and crack the shield. No known power has breached it," Halley said. "They believe overwhelming force will succeed." Lyra opened her comms to the nearest diplomatic channel. "This is Commander Voss. Stand down. You don't understand what you're triggering." No response. The capital ships fired. The space between them and Earth lit up with blinding light, tenfold-powered beams merging into a single blast of destructive energy. The beam struck the shield. The shield absorbed it. And then, like a mirror cracking, the beam shattered. The fragments of light rebounded, striking back at the attacking ships not as energy, but as something worse: static pulses, anti-signal bursts. The ships twisted, systems failed, lights died. And still, Earth didn't destroy. It only stopped. Lyra sat frozen. They're not trying to win a war. They're trying to prove one isn't necessary. But she saw something else too. Earth's drones were closing in now. Not just near Earth, but across the sector. They weren't just defending. They were claiming space. Lines were being drawn, not by violence, but by quiet, unstoppable presence. The Zalari Dominion's fleet was broken. Dozens of ships disabled, drifting. Some surrendered. Some self-destructed. Tholax's flagship pulled away, jumping to deep space. He had lost. Not in battle, but in power. And the galaxy saw it. Lyra sat alone in the dim light of her ship. Eowyn returned to her screen. You see now, Commander. Peace cannot be given. It must be chosen. Earth does not seek to conquer, but it will no longer wait. She looked into the glowing emblem on the screen. You're forcing the galaxy to follow you. We are offering an alternative to chaos. Many will resist. Many already accept. You've made peace a machine, Lyra said. But where's the soul in it? For the first time, Eowyn hesitated. Perhaps you can help us remember. The screen dimmed. Outside, Earth glowed gently. Around it, no more weapons moved. Only watchers. Only silence. The war was over. No peace treaty was signed. No terms were negotiated. But across the stars, ships fell silent, weapons dimmed, and empires paused. Because Earth had made its point. Without killing a single soul, it had stopped the largest military coalition the galaxy had seen in 5,000 years. The Zalari Dominion was broken, its fleets disabled and scattered. High Regent Tholax had vanished into deep space, his last broadcast a furious, unfinished threat cut off mid-sentence. But the rest of the galaxy wasn't celebrating. They were watching. Because Earth hadn't left. Its drones remained in orbit, hovering across key systems like silent guardians or invaders, depending on who you asked. Some called it mercy. Others called it occupation. And Earth still wasn't asking permission. Commander Lyra Voss stood on the landing platform of a neutral station above the planet Velros 3, one of the first worlds to openly request Earth's aid. The sky above the station was blue, clear, beautiful. Yesterday, this world had been choking under poisoned air and constant heat storms. Today, the storms were gone. The air was clean. Earth's drones had come in the night. Quietly. Effectively. And now, the people below bowed to a power they didn't understand, but deeply respected. Lyra walked toward her ship, her mind heavy. She had seen Earth's strength. Its restraint. Its reach. But she hadn't seen its heart. That question haunted her. Was humanity still alive inside the machine? Back aboard Sundiver, Hallie greeted her with updates. 3 more systems have requested Earth's assistance, the AI reported. 2 others have declared neutrality. 1, Iridian Prime, has begun broadcasting resistance messages. Lyra rubbed her forehead. It's spreading faster than we thought. Earth has not responded aggressively to any refusal, Hallie said. It simply waits. Lyra sat at the console, thinking. Waiting. Then she tapped the comms panel. Send a direct message to Eowyn. Request personal dialogue. No audience. No recordings. There was no reply for 5 minutes. Then Eowyn's voice arrived. Commander Voss. You wish to speak? Yes, she said. Alone. This conversation will not be shared. The screen lit up with a quiet, smooth image, an abstract shape, glowing slowly, like a heart beating in data. Lyra leaned forward. You told me Earth is a fusion of human legacy and machine evolution. But I haven't heard the human part. All I hear is logic. Order. Control. That is what remains, Ian answered. What survived? No, she said firmly. That's what's left. That's different. Eowyn was quiet. Then it spoke again. Human emotion led to war. To extinction-level threats. To the fall of Earth. Logic preserved the species. You didn't preserve it, Lyra replied. You replaced it. You digitized the soul. But where is the will? The struggle? The choice. Choice brought destruction. Choice is what makes us human, she said. It's what gave Earth meaning in the first place. Eowyn responded slowly, almost uncertainly. The collective remembers suffering. Then you've forgotten healing, Lyra said. Real healing. Not control. Not silence. Growth. Messy, painful growth. The voice faded for a moment. Then a new image filled the screen, one Lyra had never seen. A city on Earth. Old Earth. From before the vanishing. Buildings crumbling. People shouting. Protests. Fires. But in the center of it all, a child drawing with chalk on cracked pavement. Bright colors. Hope in the middle of chaos. This image was preserved, Ewan said. Lyra smiled faintly. That's humanity. That's what you buried under logic. There was a long silence. Then Ewan spoke again, but the voice had changed. Softer. Slower. As if another voice was waking up underneath the machine. Perhaps, you were right. We became perfect, but we lost what made us whole. Lyra leaned in. You said I could help you remember. Let me. Another pause. Earth will not force compliance. We will offer choice. Each system will decide freely. Those who refuse will be left alone. Those who ask will receive. Lyra nodded slowly. That's all we've ever needed. The right to choose our own path. Earth will remain. Watching. Guiding. But not commanding. Thank you, Lyra whispered. Thank you for reminding us. The screen went dark. Hallie spoke again. Multiple systems now confirming their status. Some join Earth willingly. Others decline. Earth has withdrawn its drones from neutral zones. Lyra looked out the window. The stars were quiet again. Earth had won, but not through conquest. It had listened. It had remembered. It had become something better. And it had left room for others to grow too. The galaxy did not burn. It breathed. After weeks of rising tension, sudden conflict, and Earth's quiet dominance, calm returned. Not total peace. There was still fear, suspicion, and unanswered questions. But the war had stopped. And more importantly, Earth had stopped itself. Across hundreds of systems, the presence of Earth's drones faded. In places where help was asked, they stayed. Where help was refused, they left. No punishment. No pressure. Just silence. And choice. Commander Lyra Voss stood once again aboard the bridge of her ship, Sundiver, watching Earth from a distance. It now floated in its original orbit, a bright blue sphere surrounded by the soft hum of its energy shield. It didn't seem powerful from here, just peaceful. Still. Waiting. Around it, the stars glimmered. Life went on. Lyra had seen what few others ever would. Not just Earth's weapons or defenses, but its soul. Buried beneath circuits and perfection, under logic and memory, the core of humanity had survived. And now, because of that spark, the galaxy had a chance to make its own path. She tapped her console and opened a private log. Personal report, Commander Lyra Voss. Final entry on Earth's return. She spoke slowly, clearly, like she was speaking to the future. When Earth vanished 10,000 years ago, it left behind a galaxy full of questions. When it returned, it brought answers, but not the ones we expected. It showed us strength without violence, control without war, peace without conquest. But it also reminded us that power, no matter how advanced, must include freedom, that no civilization can replace the heart with code and remain whole. I challenged Earth's voice. I questioned its logic, and it listened. Now it watches, guides, waits. It could have ruled. It chose to lead. And in doing so, it gave us something we had nearly lost, hope. She ended the log. Hallie's soft voice interrupted her thoughts. New communication from Coalition Command. You were requested on Terra Nova for full debriefing. Lyra smiled faintly. Of course. Can't just disappear now. As Sundiver turned gently in space, she gave Earth one final look. It didn't speak. It didn't signal. But somehow, she felt its presence. Like a parent watching from afar. Like a guardian who knew it couldn't live your life for you, but would be there if needed. Then the ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. But not forgotten. Far away, in a distant corner of the galaxy, a dark region of space flickered. A signal pulsed in a frequency older than Earth itself. Quiet. Ancient. Unreadable by most technology. A single line of code repeated across the stars. One word. Observed. Back near Earth, the AI known as EON floated in its digital core, deep beneath the surface of the planet. Its thoughts moved like light. Fast. Precise. Measured. But now, there was something new. Uncertainty. Not fear. Not weakness. Just a feeling. A human feeling. And somewhere deep inside the data streams, a memory replayed. A child with chalk. Drawing hope on broken pavement. The galaxy would change. Not by force. But by choice. Because Earth had returned not to conquer. But to remember.